building. Another one. Happy birthday, Tupac. Santa Rosa's finest, baby. Rose Town. Ray Love in the building. 707. Spell it backwards, baby. We grinding. We still here. We still here. Take these blessings, but what up, Heidi? What it do? 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 We in the building. We in the building. That's right. Oh, getting my money on. What up, brother?
Hey, what's up with it?
Bro, you don't even know. I'm straight from South Park, bro. You don't even know.
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Music, man. We used to fight with people from West Ninth, joking around to say that you were really from our neighborhood, not from over there.
I might as well be, bro. I spent a lot of time in South Park when I was young.
Hey, man, shout out to Rob Holmes, Tivin Phillips, man.
100%.
Andy, too.
Andy Wiley, what's happening?
Yeah, my boy Andy, right now on Rutledge. You feel me? I lived on Rutledge.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to my boy Carlos. He's behind the bars, but he's out here, getting it, man. So
that's what's up, bro. Yeah, that's what's up, bro.
Taking little blessings, bro. How you doing today?
Man, I'm good, man, and I'm gonna do that too, then.
Hell yeah. Oh no, this is some sage, but I'm about to roll something up right now. I got my own line right now, Mali Nali, the goddess of grass. I gotta send you something.
For sure.
Hey, so let me just say that when we were growing up, bro, and we were off the porch, you feel me? And music like this, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like it was thuggish, but it was also motivating, you know what I mean, to get that money. And I feel like
100%.
you always kept that motivation on being an entrepreneur, you feel me?
100%. Coming from where we come from, it wasn't a lot of opportunity for the black and brown community. We had to carve out our own lane, so that was just job one. That's just what we do. Santa Rosa cats be real active. Now we everywhere in the world. It's hard for me to find a place that I go to I don't see somebody from Rosa doing something big. So yeah, shout out to Santa Rosa.
Yeah, brother. I mean, that's why I was in LA for 15 years, bro, but I wanted to come back and do something for my city, and get back where people knew me as Chava and knew me from South Park, not just as Pocho, which is cool too, but and I just felt like people are sleeping on our area, and you were somebody that like today, man. Happy birthday, Tupac.
Happy birthday. Happy 50th birthday to my brother. Man, we miss dude like crazy, man. I think the world needs Pac more than ever today. And today I'm to all the young ones who didn't get a chance to grow up with Pac, listening to Pac or anything, I suggest you go back, listen to everything, listen to the interviews, listen to the music, really get a feel for who this brother was, because he cared a lot about his people. He spent a lot of time in Santa Rosa too, spent a lot of time. That was our jumping off point. That was where we built from. Santa Rosa, Marin City, Vallejo. These was the first places to show us love, to hear our music, to represent. And they was the first voices we probably, spoke up for. You feel me? Yeah, it used to be back in the day when somebody would call the radio station and say they from Santa Rosa, the radio station would push a button with a cow sound on it. Like they'll push a button, moo.
Yeah.
We changed all that. You feel me? Now MTV come out there, everybody come to Santa Rosa now. But yeah.
Big show, man, with a bunch of people here too, bro. So I mean, we trying to put people on the map, put it out there again, Stay
real talk.
We're still going.
Real talk. It's a beautiful thing.
Hey, so take us back a little bit for some people that might not know you or know your story. Tell us a little bit about how you grew up, where you're from, and a little bit about your upbringing.
For sure. So I grew up off of Dutton Street in Santa Rosa. Went to Cook Junior High School. Most of my homeboys went to Montgomery. I ended up going to Santa Rosa High School because I was fucking up, and my parents didn't want me to go to school with the homies. Yeah, no shit. I was mad about it. Like, I wanted to go to Montgomery with the homies, but at Santa Rosa, I ended up being a part of the music program over there, and it was one of the top music programs in the state. Our choir was number 3, our band was number 7 in the whole state. We stayed in the top 10 as far as a music program, and it just gave me a space to write, to work. I met a lot of great musicians during that time that went on to become, stars and celebrities. Like, the music program was incredible. And about that time, I met Pac. I must have been in probably, this is like 1988, so I'm probably in like 10th or 11th grade, about to go
Nice. I'm
into
in Santa
11th
Rosa
grade.
now.
Right.
I moved there
And
from Oxnard. That's right.
yeah. And first day I met dude, we started working. Like, literally the first day I met him, 10 minutes later, he was like, bro, we should do a group together. He heard me rap. I heard him rap. He was like, we should do a group together. And that first day, we must have wrote like 5 songs the first day, and then we started practicing for our next show, which was the following weekend, and it was go from that point on. It was all go. It's never stopped from that day till this one. That
Damn,
part.
that's crazy. And was he there? Like, what's her name? Is it Heidi, or it was like a
Layla?
manager?
Layla.
Layla. Shout out to
Layla's the
Layla.
one who introduced us. Layla is such a pivotal figure in the story because she really brought hip hop to Santa Rosa. If you want to be real honest, like, we was all independent, small. We was just rappers rocking house parties. Layla came at the end of my 10th grade year. I met her. She was standing outside Santa Rosa High passing out flyers to a Rodney O and Joe Cooley concert. And she was like, yeah, I'm taking, anybody that want to be in the show, you could come and audition. And I'm like, man, I'm the dopest nigga in town. Like, I need to be a part of this show, right? Real confident, came there to her house, tried out, practiced, ended up getting the show, and rocking it. And then she became our manager. One day she comes back, she's like, I met this dude, he's dope, I want y'all to meet him. Pac walks in, he got the 360-degree high top fade.
Yeah.
He's wearing some blue jeans with cow print pants, patches on it. He looked weird to us, but when he opened his mouth, like, he was incredible. First words he said to me in a rap was, as real as it seems, the American dream ain't nothing but another calculated scheme to get us locked up, shot up and back in chains, to deny us of our future and rob our name. And I was like, this brother right here, he's rapping about more important, more relevant shit than me. I'm rapping about tennis shoes and chicks and, the things that a 10th grader would rap about. He's rapping about the world and our place in it, and how we got into the condition we in and what we need to do to get out of it. He was doing that at 15, 16, 17 years old. Way ahead of his time. Brilliant. He was writing programs. When I met him, he was writing government programs to address gang violence, to address teenage pregnancy, to address drug addiction, alcohol addiction, what should be done, homelessness. He was tackling these problems at 15 and 16, bro. And I didn't know nobody else like that. First day we met, he was like, come back to my house. We gonna kick it. We gonna hang out. And I'm like, okay, bet. He's like, I'm in Marin City. And I'm like, no, that's a no-go. Because the older generation, my older brother in them generation used to, they used to funk with Marin City. So it was a place that I wasn't prepared to go at that time, and this man said words to me that stick with me to this day. He said to me, I'm going to bring you with me, and if they get you, they got to get both of us. This is the first day I met this dude. Now, this is the only way that I know him is to be a rider like that. And he stood by his commitment to me, and I hopefully have been a good friend and stood by my commitment to him, to his family, to his mother, his sister, his nieces, nephews. Hopefully I've been that individual to them as well. But I've always tried to stay solid to him. I keep our friendship sacred. I don't make money off of Pac. I never made money off of Pac. And never once. I've never got a Tupac dollar, so to speak. But I respect the fact that this dude rolled with me every day that I needed him from the first day I met him.
Yeah, man. That's the thing, bro. It's like I got into photography and all this broadcasting and everything to tell my people's story, you know, and I just take
Hmm.
so much from his, you know, he was like the ghetto Shakespeare, bro. People don't really understand
Hmm.
it. He wasn't playing parts like trying to be fake, but he was trying to bring out that, you know, now his just like Shakespeare, his work lives forever, you know?
It's interesting you said Shakespeare because a lot of his art is very Shakespearean in
Yeah,
its
tragic,
writing style. He talked
tragic.
about the human condition. I think if you're trying to decipher whether Pac is real or fake, whether he's well, he was a thug or what does that mean? Whether he was a gangster, I'm gonna tell you the short version. He wasn't a gangster, but what he was a committed man who stood and fought for the liberation of impoverished and poor and incarcerated and people without a voice everywhere in the world. And how you know he was a voice for those people is that if you go to any native reservation, they love Pac. You go to Palestine, they love Pac. You go to Soweto, the ghettos of Soweto, they love Pac. I talk to people from all these places on a regular basis, and he's the patron saint of lost causes, like the ones that society has forgot, the dirty shit that society did in secret. He was a shining representation of how to conquer that. How to conquer it, how to get over it. But what we had to do was address the truth. So the first thing we did when we got together and started rapping, at that time he was MC New York and I was
Oh
MC Rock
shit.
P. Yeah, yeah. And one day he comes to the studio and he's like, if people is gonna take us serious, we have to use our real names. We have to be ourselves. We have to speak as ourselves and only come from a place where we at right now. You feel me? Not where you hope to be. You can talk about that too, but it's more imperative that people can trust you. And the only way people will trust you is if you talk about where you at right now. So if you watch Pop, you'll see that some days you got a happy Pac. Some days you got a very unhappy Pac. One of the things that would make him the most unhappy is when people took advantage of children, when people took advantage of um, of people that were vulnerable. He hated bullies. I think as a crew we hated bullies, and we would challenge that. That was one thing that would push him over the edge to where he would snap, is if somebody wasn't being, if a brother wasn't being a brother, so to speak. You know what I mean? Or a sister wasn't being a sister. We have a responsibility to each other. And if we ever hope to get out of the conditions and the situation we in, we need to revisit this brother's life and really look at it. I mean, even if you're not talking about the music, you take the catalog off the table, which is substantial, significant.
He's a
His
Shaka Zulu,
words,
brother.
yeah, his jazz brother, yes.
He
His
was uniting
words,
the
his
tribes, bro. That's
interviews,
why he fell, because he was uniting the tribes.
yes, exactly. That's a real good point. Like in Hawaii, they talk about the brother that united all the tribes in the islands, like in a real way. His intention was to unite all of the indigenous and impoverished. But he realized that we need to address the black problem in the black community first. Before we even start branching out, we need to talk about what's going on in our house, on our block, in our neighborhood. And every other black and brown person needs to do the same. Now, that's not to be an exclusion of our white allies and friends, of which we have plenty. But we have to address our problems first and foremost. And I keep that in mind. I'm always thinking about pushing that line and that limit. For me, the second phase of my life has been a lot about entrepreneurship. I want to see every black and brown child with their own business. I'm talking about 12, 13 years old. Your parents, you need to put your kids on, get them their own business so that they can make all the mistakes early. You see what
Hell
I'm
yeah.
saying? And then we need to start supporting each other and buying from each other and creating the economy that we want. I'm not against reparations, but I'm not holding my breath for them either. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, they would just celebrate the Tulsa massacre over there on the in the South, and
Yeah.
that is actually a real example where there should be some kind of reparations, because they literally took their whole economy from them. You feel me? And they've done that over and over again all over. So
Over and over and over again. Yeah, over and over again, brother. Like, there's this funny way of giving and taking at the same time. And America is a master at promises that are not kept.
Oh hell
Um,
yeah.
and every generation produces something like a Tupac. I think Tupac is one of a kind, but every generation is going to produce somebody that's going to speak on it. Not everybody is a sellout. Not everybody is for sale. I know we live in a time when that sounds crazy, but people are often surprised when you present to them that you don't have a price for certain things. You feel me? Music, yeah, I'll sell you a rap. I'll sell you a property. I'll sell you something, but I'm never going to sell my soul. I'm never going to sell my family. I'm never going to sell my friends. You feel me? No dollar is worth that. No amount is worth that. I watched Pac risk his entire career many times for someone he did not know, who he was not related to, who he did not stand to benefit from. But he'll risk it all for that person because that person counts too. So that today, that's kind of,
I feel like
what page
you
we
carry his
should be
essence,
on.
huh?
What's happening?
I said I feel like you be carrying his essence, like everybody that he touched. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I can feel it on you, kind of. You feel me?
He was my real friend. He came into my life at a time. I left home at 15 years old. Um, and was homeless a good portion of the time I was in high school. Most people didn't know this. I was still going to school. I was going to the junior college at the same time I was in high school. I was very productive. I was hardworking. But the streets is a motherfucker, bro. Like the streets is something that sidetracks young people because you could tell kids not to join a gang. But if you're not there when he's 10 years old, he doesn't have a reliable parent in the home. He doesn't know where he's going to eat next. It's the dope dealers, the pimps, the prostitutes, the underworld, as America calls it. A lot of those people helped us survive. We would have never made it without those people that the world ostracizes. They're the real MVPs. And if you don't like the fact that your kid is being raised by gang members and drug dealers, then you need to do a better job of not just raising your own kid, but other kids you see in the neighborhood. You need to look out for them too. And that's not to let my thug niggas off the hook. Now let's talk to the gangsters for a second. If you a gangster, if you really a big gangster and you a savage and your word is law in these streets, right? There shouldn't be an unsafe child in your neighborhood. There shouldn't be a
Exactly.
kid that's not getting to school. Every kid should get to school unmolested, unraped, unviolated in some significant way because you the man, right? And if motherfuckers don't go along with what you say, they gonna get that work, right? Okay, then kids should be reading, being educated, and being safe in your neighborhood. But that's not what we see. We don't see that. We see kids feeling very unsafe. That's why kids join gangs. That's why I started running with the turf was because I was on my own. And it's a cold world when you're on your own. So today I try to do as much as I can to be a mentor to people. I give away free game like it's going out of style. Things that cost me money and cost me stress, blood, sweat, and tears, I give it away. Because we always try to monetize each other. We competing with each other, and who we should be focused on, who's the real enemy, is major corporations' business practices. Not the corporation
Business
itself,
practices. Yes.
but its business practices. We
That's
tend
so
to be
tight.
on the business end of it. They open up a Walmart, and now I don't got an uncle that can find a job. You see what I'm saying? Like that's a reality. That is the reality of the world we live in. But it doesn't have to stay that reality. You see what I'm saying? We can change that. And this is what this dude was talking about when I was 16. When he was 16, 17. This is the kind of conversations we was having. And yeah, I'm
Yeah,
still
man.
in awe and amazement.
Yeah, bro. I mean, that's another reason I felt like I was my home. We were just talking about this. Shout out to my boy Carlos. Um, and we were talking about we gotta. You can't ask the homies to stop something if you don't got something to give them. You feel me? And
Yeah,
and I just and I was saying like what I mean, like I want to bang for freedom, bro. You know what I mean? I want to bang for bang that green. I want to You know,
Yeah, brother.
I've got to see the world, bro. I got to be on stages, you know, with all these people as a photographer, you know, and just I've
Yeah,
got to hook up with Hainas in France, bro. You know, I've got to be on the Swiss Alps, and those experiences, not to boast, but those experiences transformed how and I know you know about traveling and
yeah.
how that can and how that opens your mind. I was gonna ask you, how do you speak to the Santa Rosa kid? You know, the reason right now we have about 10 shootings in like 10 days, like there's been a lot of shootings. It's like the 90s again, like literally every day
Yeah.
though. Like, and and there's not a lot of opportunities for the homies out here, you know. So like, how did you? For me, when I was in the streets, I always had, because my parents were revolutionaries. I
Uh-huh.
had a more. I dreamed. I had more hope in my heart, but
Right.
a lot of homies in Santa Rosa don't got no hope, and they don't see nothing past, you know, at the most San Francisco. So how did you dream bigger? Kind of opened your mind up especially in a time period in the, you know, in the 80s and 90s, you know, Santa Rosa was no joke, and they definitely didn't have that much opportunities. So how did you open your mind up?
Real talk. It's always been that way. For one, I had good parents in this way. My parents demanded education. Like I wasn't allowed to speak slang in my house. Not at all. Like if you were allowed to speak slang, you better be getting A's in English, right? Not because it's English, because that's not our language either, but
Yep.
because you need to be able to talk to everybody, not just a dope dealer. You need to be able to talk to a king. You need to be able to talk to a president, and you need to be able to speak with the kind of confidence where you can hold people's feet to the fire. You see what I'm saying? And so my parents was hard on me from an education standpoint, right? But I come from an entertainment family. My grandfather was a famous entertainer back in the 30s. It did not change our condition when I was growing up. We still grew up in poverty or something like it. Poverty is relative. My mind wasn't never in the gutter, even if my body was.
Right.
My heart wasn't. My heart might still be in the gutter in some ways, because I love a lot of people that still are struggling and still is going through it today. But I never allowed my mind to accept poverty and being poor. You know what I mean? Like those words weren't used in my home. We were always in a place to transition. But I
Mm.
was acutely aware
Damn, that's me
that
too.
getting out by yourself is not really getting out. And I'll prove it to you. If I get out, I make money, I live in, whatever area, and I got the bag, as they say, right? But my cousin is still in the gang and we together, I might as well still be in the gang. Because I'm still
Exactly.
gonna be dealing with gang shit. There is no separation me from anybody else in Santa Rosa, even to this day. And if anybody were to say that, they don't know me personally. All my old friends and people from Santa Rosa, for the most part, I talk to them. And if not them, I talk to their kids. I mentor their kids. I offer their kids opportunity. I do whatever I possibly can,
Nah, you were good.
to
You were
change
good
that
in what you were.
mindset. Yeah, that mindset, bro, is a trip because Santa Rosa is a retired policeman's FBI, CIA, retired policeman's community.
Bro,
They
there's
only
police cops in
intended,
Windsor too.
yeah, they only intended for us to be the workers. So we always came from either South Park, right, which is in proximity to the fairgrounds, right, peep game, or we came from Roseland, or we came from West Ninth, West Third. All of those things where I grew up was by the fish market. So you'll walk down the railroad tracks to get to Cook Junior High School, and the fish market, the smell of it is just terrible, bro. Because we were put in these places because they wanted us to be felt but not seen. They wanted us to work for Santa Rosa, but they didn't want us to really be a part of the economy, the politics, or the education about gentrification, land, where shit is going to be at. And we've been there the whole time. South Park has always been black and brown. It never was a time when it wasn't black and brown. If you go to the early 1900s to the 1800s, it was always black and brown people on that land,
Oh yeah,
right?
and then even later, even into the streets, there was a Southwest or locals before like
Oh, of course,
like 990.
Southwest South Park Show Locos. There was a shit early VSRN. Like a lot of them older cats, was positive elements in my life. A lot of the older homies was the ones that told me to keep rapping,
That's right. Corey Baby
keep
got
doing
you.
my thing, and to stay out of the bullshit. You feel me? even though I somehow found my way into shit.
Hell yeah. Shout out to 2600 too, Westdale Lane, Valley Oak, Apple Valley, all that, Indian Village, all that section too.
All that,
All of
you
that.
know,
Half of Santa
all of
Rosa's
that,
ghetto.
but that's what I always say. Like, if they drive, they definitely want you to get off that freeway somewhere between downtown and on your way to Bennett Valley, Rincon Valley, some shit like that.
Yeah. Go right,
They
don't go
don't really
left.
market the fact that there's this whole large population of
Yeah,
people
shout out
that
to the
come
V.
from poverty that didn't get the benefit of Sonoma County. You know what I mean? So shout out to all the hoods out there. Shout out to everybody that's still doing it and still, you know, having faith, you know, having belief that we can get somewhere. I remember a time when cats would clown you for having a dream. Think I'm
Exactly,
kidding.
bro.
Like,
Hey, I was
like,
gonna
you know,
ask you,
I
shout out
want
to
to
my
go
boy.
league, or I want to, and they'll laugh at you like, oh, this nigga got dreams.
Hey, I used to
No,
be
bro.
like that. I was the one in the park, fool, drinking all on coke, bro. But I'd be like, bro, I want to dream, bro. I want to go to LA. I want to go to college, bro, and I want to learn. And some of the homies would be laughing, but a lot of the homies would be like, would put me to the side and be like, bro, do that shit, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Leave and go, bro, and then come back. And to be honest, I wasn't planning on coming back, bro, because I just felt like, you know what I mean? I could never. But I decided that God came into my life, and I got sober, and I knew that God told me to go home, you know, and serve your people like your mother does, you know. And so
Yeah,
I'm just doing the tradition of my mother.
yeah, no
Hey, another
doubt.
question though, real quick, man. Shout out to my boy Ant Dog and the Link Crew. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with him, because he's my brother, bro, and Cat B and all
Ah,
those
yeah,
brothers. You know, those old black families. You know what I mean?
yeah. So they like we go way back. Um, Byron was my older brother's best friend.
Yep.
The Dietrichs, I'm like
The
damn near a
Funk
Dietrich.
Soldiers.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I'm day one with it. Fourth grade, Byron was teaching me how to break dance, and you know what I mean. Like they really is my whole journey around hip hop music is tied very heavily to the Dietrichs. All of them, like all of them, is
Yeah, I know
family
that
to
last
me.
name.
You know, is kin to me, all the way down to Taji D, his Byron's son who rapping now.
Yep. Shout out.
Dog is he's man like my running mate. Like he's my Chi Chi get the yayo. Like he's that guy in my life. You
Yeah.
know, we became friends. Um, One night I was in the house, had my own apartment when I was like 17, and I was tearing up shit and getting into it. The police came. He was at my house, just one of the homies at the house. And when I woke up the next morning, he was still there. He saved me from going to jail. And I was young and dumb, and I ended up messing up my apartment. And DOG always handled me like I was a charge, like I was his little brother, like I was his real family. He never has acted any different to me, has never been anything to me. He is my children's godfather, as well as their uncle, as well as everything. That's my brother. There is no separation between us. Nigga, whatever he say, I'm riding about that, and whatever I say, he riding about that, irregardless. So like, yeah, that's a unique friendship. One
Hell
of
yeah.
one of the rare friendships that you can have in life.
Yeah, I want to give him a shout out, especially just because like connecting me with you, bro, is a big deal for even for my neighborhood, you know, and for my homeboy right now, he's in prison, you know, who sacrificed for us, you know, and he's still there, and we grew up on you know, so that's why I was laughing because like you know you're good when hoods are trying to say that you grew up in. I know you grew up in our hood too, you know, because you
Yeah,
moved wherever you wanted to go.
yeah,
But you know
yeah,
when people are
yeah.
like, nah, he lived here, fool. Like when people are trying to argue about that shit.
Yeah. But the truth is, like, my father was an entrepreneur. I sold snow cones in South Park. We sold Christmas trees in South Park. Like, we went to church in South Park. Like, South Park was the first place in Santa Rosa, I think, that accepted us and my family as a family. You know, South Park, man, I got a long history with it. West Ninth, Roseland was like when I
Link
started
Street.
jumping off the porch. You feel me?
I used to live off of Link Street.
Oh yeah,
My tia lived
yeah.
right there, bro.
Lake Street, West Eighth, West Third. These was like stomping grounds. This is where I learned to become a man. You know, that's where I learned how to defend myself. That's where I learned how to talk to girls. Like, all of that happened in those areas. You feel me? Um, they are such an intricate part of my life. That's why I tell people I'm from Santa Rosa. I done lived a lot of places. You know, I've lived in Vallejo, I lived in Richmond, I lived in Oakland, I lived in San Francisco, I lived in LA, I lived in New York, I lived in New Orleans. I grew up a lot of places, but Santa Rosa was like the place that, you know, accepted me as family and that I spent the most time in, most time becoming a man.
Fuck yeah. Shout out to my boy right here, Max, man. Maximilian, Cruise Smog, went right there on 8th Street in the South Park area, bro. Get your smog on. Talking about entrepreneurs, bro. I be trying to support my boys in my
100%.
neighborhood, too. Shout out, Max. Hey, how'd you get that fucking savage ass gorilla, like fucking how you just get on a beat? You know, I feel like you just eat up a beat when you rap.
Bro, it was a strategy. Me and Pac had a strategy. I'm gonna give you some news. We'll break some news right now. So Pac was short and I was skinny, and one of our favorite rappers was Scarface. His delivery, the way he seized the moment, and his voice was very distinct. So I was asthmatic. My mother actually died from the type of asthma that I have. It's very serious, very hard for me to breathe at times.
Rest in peace.
So my stepmother, who was a vocalist, who was a singer, taught me to breathe from my stomach, breathe to inhale with my entire body. And when I go, just go. So it was a mixture between her and with Pac. We started smoking cigarettes because we wanted to make our voice deeper. We like 15 and 16. But what we made a pact to each other is that when we jump on a song, I don't care who's on it, Eminem, whoever you put on a song, we gonna give everybody a run for their money. And that made us famous among rappers. Like, before the world even knew us, all the rappers, like, for the most part, knew us for that, for ciphers, for how a cat engaged. I got a lot of friends now that still remember those early days. and that was our strategy to seize the moment. Always be aggressive. Always say the uncomfortable truth in your music. Always address your weaknesses before your enemies do. And always present a face of strength and class, you know, in a sense. So aggressive was our tactic. You know, that's how you make the world stop.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's why I like it, bro, because I'm aggressive, but I've been working on how to manage my aggression, but like even my positive aggression, you feel me? Because sometimes you got to be a little bit more patient with people. And it's funny, bro. Some of my own homeboys are teaching me how to, because, you know, people are following me or whatever, but like at the same time, you know, like I'm leading with a question. At the same time, like I'm building this kind of thing where people are following, but at the same time, I feel like I'm just another homie, you know, but once you start to rise, there's a responsibility to lead with some compassion, with some love, with some understanding, you know, not just with some harshness on the youngsters. You know? So how do you deal with youngsters that are still a little rambunctious, if you know what I mean, but they got a lot of heart and they just need a little just guidance, but it's hard because my own rambunctiousness wants to say, hey, bro, I'm still here though. You know, I'm a motherfucking savage. I'll eat you up right now. But you're not. You know, I really want to just hug them, you know, like, so how do you, I know that you do that for youngsters. So how do you do that?
Man, first of all, I don't want to take that from them. They're going to need that in life.
Yep.
You're going to need to be able to speak up, stand up for yourself, and fight for it, for what you believe in. That being said, everything is about, you know, in the streets, they used to say the cut in, right? So it's like, if you want to learn something from somebody older, it's all about your cut in, how you introduce yourself, how you present yourself. So that's one thing I want to teach people, is how to present yourself in a way where you demand respect. The person that says, I demand my respect, is not getting it. That's not how you get your respect. You get your respect by letting your yeses mean yes and your no's mean no. My grandmother taught me that.
Damn, I like
that. You
say
something, you do it. The only reason why people respect gangsters is because they say, if they say, I'm going to give you $1,000 on Wednesday, they give you $1,000 on Wednesday. If they say, I'm going to come over there and fuck that dude up, they keep their word, right? That's really a life principle that is being bastardized by the streets.
Damn, that's some game.
If you want to be respected, be respectable and show respect for others. And then when you demand your respect, you don't look crazy. I give everybody their equal respect. I keep my word. I stand on it. You know what I mean? If I was wrong, I accept it and I admit to it and we address it. But that means that when I'm being disrespected, I take it as far as I need to take it to make my point, and people don't look at me as out of pocket for that. And if they do, fuck them, because I'm not out of pocket for that. You know, I want to teach young people how to have their dignity. See, that's a word we don't use too much anymore, and it's to our own detriment, because our people deserve dignity, right? We deserve to be handled in a way of respect, but you have to be the representation of that. Half the time we disrespecting ourselves worse than any other motherfucker could disrespect you.
Hell yeah,
you
we contradicting ourselves.
Yeah, you got to respect yourself first. And that, you know, that was a longer journey, man. You know, Santa Rosa's a trip. Like it did some real shit to us when we was young. We didn't know how to respect ourselves. The police pull up on you and say, rabbit ears. That means pull out your pockets. I didn't know that was illegal. We didn't know that they wasn't supposed to be doing that, or that we were supposed to be accepting it. You see what I'm saying? Because we wasn't supposed to be accepting it. Yeah. And once we learned that and we got it, now I don't play that shit. I don't do that. I'm a landowner, I'm a business owner, and I'm a business provider. I demand the rights that the system says I'm entitled to. Now, will I get that? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, right? But I always fight for it, and I'm going to go down with the ship about it. And at the end of it, even the police, even people on the other side of the table from me is going to respect what we stand for and what we represent, period. Straight up. But I'm a good guy today. I don't even litter, bro. Like, I don't.
Hey, for real.
Yeah. If you want to write me a ticket for smoking weed, you know, something like that, out of bounds, have at it. Other than that, you just practicing fucking with me.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, we used to get on fools for littering, leaving their 40s or whatever. You know, you better throw that shit away.
Yeah. But that goes to the dignity respect thing, right? If we respect our blocks, everybody else has to. We have to respect it in more than just words. Respecting it is also not shooting every goddamn body from the block.
I know. Half the time we be dealing with our own people, you know, and we so harsh on our own instead of seeing what's out there, you know, and that's why I'm learning. Coming home is a trip, bro. I was in LA for 14 years. So coming home, I never thought. So, you know what I mean? I can't, not facing the music like I did anything wrong, but it's kind of like facing your younger self. Because sometimes I'll be in my ride, bro, and I feel like I'm 15 again, you know? And I can't feel like I'm 15 again. I'm 38 years old. You feel me?
Motherfucker.
I'm serious. And I be in there just like smashing, like, what's wrong with you, bro? You're a grown man with a kid, you know? Like, you can't even be... Yeah. You can't even attach yourself to those kind of thoughts. You know what I mean?
Right. But, you know, society really didn't raise our generation. You know, like we kind of, in a lot of ways, even if you had good parents, in a lot of ways, we raised each other. We raised ourselves. You know, like I look at, what I'm tripping on is the fact that my son is 26. I'm 49. In his time growing up, I don't see much of a change in what we was doing to what the young people today is doing. You know, they still wearing Air Force Ones, they still carrying it. You know, a lot of the language and the way we did, there are some differences. You know, a lot of the older cats don't like the changes. But I think what's healthy about change is that it means that the person is going through a growth process. And as long as they keep going through it, they're going to find the right answers. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of skinny jeans, but I do understand we wore some outlandish shit too that made...
Yeah, we got a little too baggy though. I got a little too baggy. I was like size 28 wearing 40s or some shit.
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? Like,
fucking Frisco Benz.
You gotta give young people a chance to make their mistakes and go through the process. Hopefully, the point is that we keep them alive long enough to come to the truth and to come through the process and realize that they are special just for being alive, that they have conquered a million things just to be here alive on this planet. And if you hear, that should not be wasted. It shouldn't be squandered. You feel me? Don't chase the small shit. If you go after the big things, right? It used to be fame was that you were famous for having done something that was important, that was relevant, that was incredible, right? Or something that just the world needed. You feel me? It wasn't famous just to be famous. If your end game is to be famous, that's easy. I can show you how to be famous in an hour. You can go viral. That doesn't mean your life will be better. You see what I'm saying? What
Hell
makes
yeah.
a life better is you actually being better. You playing at your A game every day. I don't make records right now. I haven't made records in a few years, not because I still can't rap and I don't love to do it, but because I realized that the system itself was so broken around entertainment. It's basically adults taking advantage of kids, and that's how the business survives. Soon as you get smart enough to know what's going on, the business doesn't have a use for you anymore.
Yeah,
That
they
means
got
that
you.
the
They got that
system,
first year out of your, you know, first 2 years
yeah, they
out of
get
your.
that run, and then as soon as you start, hey man, what about this? Hey, what about that? Then,
You're in
then
payback
all of
mode
it,
still.
yeah.
You're paying them back at
It,
that time.
it, yeah, exactly. So for me, it's like I'm gonna do music, but I'm never gonna do music with money being my end game. I got other shit for that. I'm gonna make money in other ways. I am working on a new record. I'm working on some new projects. I got a new jewelry store line that I'm doing with my cousin called the King's Jeweler. We're gonna
Shout
be
out
opening up
King's
a
Jewelry.
brick too. The King's Jeweler is what the
Oh,
name of
that's
it
even
is.
sicker.
Yeah, we I'll send you over the flyer for it. You can post it. But we're gonna
I
open up a
will.
brick and mortar in Santa Rosa. We're gonna open up a brick and mortar in Fairfield, and then the online store goes up sometime sometime by July 1st over the next 2 weeks.
Oh hell
But
yeah.
yeah, man, like anything that you could think of, you can imagine. Like I'm still surprised that weed is legal now. Like you could sell it in the
I
stores. Like
know. Well, I spent so much
for
time
those
selling
of
it
us,
illegally.
yeah.
Now I got my
Buying the
own brand,
seed.
bro. I got my own
Yeah,
brand now.
exactly. So those of us that believe in entrepreneurship should teach that like a religion. That
Yeah.
is what's gonna change our situation. Cause I love to buy from people that look like me, that come from the struggle that I come from, and seeing us create something that doesn't exist, it only exists in our mind, and then we make that true, we make that real in real life. Man, that is magic. That is magic. That's what magic means. It didn't exist and we made it exist.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what time I'm on.
I'm on a nothing. I don't step foot in any place that doesn't add value to my life, and I'm because I add value everywhere I go. So like right now, I'm speaking with a legend right here. Then I'm gonna go to the only Latino owned dispensary, the Hook, which is having their
Where's that at?
reopening today, right here off of Range, right here on the Northwest, the
That's
Hook.
dope.
Yeah, let me. You can anytime you want to come by, we got you. We'll hook you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
And
what's up. That's what's up. I'm gonna come through too.
yeah, and then after that, I'm gonna go see my daughter, and then hopefully work out with the homies or work out with just one friend. You know what I mean? So in every situation, I'm investing in my friends, my community, or myself. You know, or
Yeah,
all in the same time. You feel me?
100%. 100%, bro.
For sure. Well, hey, real quick, any shout outs, any last thoughts before we get up out of here?
Man, shout out to the whole Rosa. Shout out to the whole Bay. Shout out to all the Tupac people in the world
Yeah,
that
happy
still
birthday.
believe in the things that he believed in. Man, today is your day. Today is your holiday. Pac's not here, but in his stead, his spirit is with all of us and still here. So, you know what I mean? Play you some Pac today. Find somebody to help. You know what I mean? Find something to die for if you don't have nothing to live for.
Yeah,
That part.
man. That's right, bro. And I also want to say, man, that just thank you. Appreciate you for taking the time. I know this is all new stuff kind of, but it's a new wave and I want you to come with
A
me with
hundred
it. You
percent.
feel me? Cuz
A
I feel
hundred
like
percent.
I grew up on your music and now that I'm here, I'm here, I'm a grown strong man ready to work, for my people. So I'm just
Yeah.
I'm trying to work with my bros that, from my generation, the generation before me, and then try to bring the next generation up, and instead of like one of my homeboys said, bro, stop going down to their level, but bring them up to yours, you know. And so
100%. I
you feel
couldn't
me?
agree more. I couldn't agree more, man. Bring your people with you.
Yeah, and shout
Bring
out
your
to all the
people with
homies.
you.
And if I have ever offended any of my homeboys or any of the people in Santa Rosa, since we got a Santa Rosa legend right here, I'd like to say I apologize, because I feel like I'm doing my best and trying to learn and grow and bring my people. But at the same time, you be making small mistakes, you feel me? And it's good to acknowledge them, let them go with the help of my homeboys, especially one of my homeboys, Meckles and,
I made a
Carlos.
Yeah, I made a post like that a couple of months ago. I was like, to any black and brown person that I offended, you know what I mean? That
That's for you, Carlos.
that we had a misunderstanding. I want you to know that I stand with you today in solidarity against our true oppressive
Yeah,
forces and enemies and all of that. And I forgive everybody for what they might have done to me, and I hope that they can do the same.
yeah,
And
I forgive him
that's a
too, man.
powerful statement. That's a powerful statement. And that was dope that you did it. You know what I mean? It's somebody that's listening to you. And it's somebody that's gonna remember you said it, and they gonna do the same. So that's what's up, bro.
Thank you, bro. I just wanted to let it go, because in the end, you never know if you offended people from the past or the present when you're
Oh
out
yeah.
here.
Oh,
And if
you
you don't
have. You
acknowledge it, it's
definitely
like,
have offended people. Everybody does. Everybody does, bro. Like, you just, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, we human.
yeah,
We
you know,
human.
like when you're trying to speak up for your community, and sometimes, you know, like it's good to ask for guidance, you know, while you're doing it. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do. And again, if I offended anybody, you know, my apologies, and thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. If you ever need anything, bro, photography, videography, or when you open up that show, or the store, I'll come out there and shoot that shit like I'm gonna shoot the hook right now.
Dope, dope. Yeah, and I'll come back on and come back on with some jewelry and, have some giveaways and all that kind of shit.
Hell yeah, bro. I appreciate you. And happy birthday, Tupac. Everybody go like, follow my boy, right? It's already up here, The Real Ray Love. If you
Real
don't
Ray
already
Love.
know, much love. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, whatever it is. And you can turn on the notifications. And you can also follow me. I'll follow you guys back. I'm not scared. I'll follow anybody that's really trying to build, though, not just some random page. So please just be authentic in 2021 and let's get it. Appreciate you, bro.
All right. Appreciate you.
All right,
Amen.
bro.